How much time and energy are the Democrats going to waste trying to pin something, anything, in the Epstein files on Donald Trump? Do you remember the hullabaloo about Donald Trump refusing to release his tax returns before and after the 2016 presidential elections? The most common accusations against Trump included that he wasn't paying any taxes at all, or that he wasn't as wealthy as he claimed to be. And most important, it would surely prove that his relationship with Russia was far more extensive and nefarious than anyone ever imagined. There were more than a few Democrats calling for Trump's impeachment even before he took office in 2017. Finally, in March of 2017, Rachel Maddow broadcast 2 pages of his 2005 tax return. The results? Well, Trump paid about $38 million in taxes on $150 million of income, resulting in an effective tax rate of 25%. Of course, that didn't end the controversy over his returns. The investigations in the Democrat-controlled House Ways and Means Committee continued until 2022. What were the findings of those investigations? Well, it did show that Trump successfully and legally avoided overpaying his obligations in several of those years. A few times it was less than $1,000. But beyond that, there was nothing criminal found and no proof of illicit connections with the Russian government. This is where I'm going to make my point in this presentation. Since then, in the 2024 election period, I haven't heard anyone talk about Donald Trump's tax returns. It wasn't an issue in the campaign. But there was something about the controversy that I never understood. The IRS is a federal agency. During Trump's first term as president, it seemed like the entire government was working to undermine his administration. Did anyone really think that the IRS would have shown any slowness in charging Trump with a tax crime had there been anything to charge him with? Does anyone really believe they didn't go over every number, every McDonald's receipt with a fine-tooth comb? My honest guess is that even if there were some who realized that they were never going to find anything, it didn't really matter to them. The point was to bombard the political atmosphere with a constant diet of accusations designed to keep Trump out of office. This tactic continues to this day, especially with the Epstein files controversy. There are plenty of true believers out there. I mean, there is no shortage of people on the left who will howl about Trump being an incorrigible and you just know that everyone around them just nods in agreement because it's common knowledge. He's a Nazi, racist who would happily eat live kittens if it was on the KFC breakfast menu. Those people can't be helped. But I suspect that there are plenty of people who know better but would still go along with that farce because, well, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They will do anything to hurt Trump, even if it involves a level of intellectual dishonesty that defies logic and seriousness. In the interest of clarity and fairness, let me outline some of the findings with respect to Donald Trump inside the Epstein files. Trump's name appears in the files some 38,000 times, and that is a lot. However, it should be pointed out that almost all of those mentions appear after their personal falling out, which is generally understood to have taken place around 2005. The verified mentions of Trump in personal communications and flight logs before 2006 seems to be less than 30. It's true that Trump's name appears far more frequently than anyone else, but that seems to be the case across all of media. Jeffrey Epstein famously archived articles, political commentary, and social media posts, and no one could ever match the output of Donald Trump in those areas. Donald Trump flew on Epstein's private jet 8 times between 1993 and 1997. There is no evidence that Trump ever went to Epstein Island or his Soto Ranch in New Mexico. I couldn't find anything that would suggest any other improprieties from that era. Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's jet at least 26 times. No record of him going to the island and no proof of anything illegal or improper. Clinton's name appears in the files more than 10,000 times. No one has testified or claimed anywhere that they saw anything that would implicate Donald Trump in any illegal or immoral behavior related to the Epstein files. The Biden FBI had all of the documents which were recently released since 2019. As in the case of the IRS audits of Trump, Does anyone honestly believe that there was no effort by the Biden White House and the FBI to link the president to Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, come on. The sad part about all of this is that among many regular Democrats, it will have its desired effect. As long as there are documents that haven't been released, then that proves that Donald Trump is guilty. Even if all the remaining documents are released and there is still nothing, it will receive scant, if any, news coverage. In the minds of many, it will just add to the Orange Man evil legend. It won't be discarded from those mental files just because the facts don't support the claims. You know, there are still people who believe in the very fine people nonsense. Look, there are legitimate policy arguments to be made against the current administration, and there does need to be a thorough investigation of the files. But the lure of tying Trump to Jeffrey Epstein is just too delicious. It's all sordid and evil and irresistible, and it reeks of the worst sins of humanity. To me, it's lazy and predictable. But thus, I am sorry to report, is the state of American politics in the Trump era. Thank you for watching. This is Pablo El Molinero. If you found this presentation interesting, please give it a like and please share it with a friend or two. That is the kind of thing that would really help the channel. Thanks again.